There's a Hebrew word that speaks volumes to the challenge many Christians face today. The word is kara. It means to be angry, to burn, to be displeased, to grieve, or to be incensed. You might say that it's a corrosive word. Let's take a look at how that word is used today and how it impacts us. Hi, I'm Pastor Tom, and today I want to take a few minutes and look at something that we deal with that affects our life, like corrosion affects metal. You know, corrosion tends to be a long-term process. Sometimes we can temporarily halt its progress with short-term action, but that just deals with the symptoms. In the long run, it will keep progressing unless we deal with the root cause. Take rust, for instance. It will continue to corrode metal until all of it is removed and preventative measures are taken to stop it. Unless, of course, it's aluminum, which has an incredible ability to resist rust and is 100% recyclable without any loss of its natural qualities. So how do corrosion and aluminum fit into the Bible? Well, actually they don't, but they paint a perfect picture of our word kara, fretting. David used it many times. Psalm 37, verse 1. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Be not envious of wrongdoers. We're tempted to be envious of the success of others because we compare ourselves with those who are gifted, favored, and more successful than we are. This is true especially if they're corrupt. We get angry at the sight of their wicked prospering and think that we have a just cause for our anger, our fretting. When we look around, we see a world full of those who commit profound immoral acts and those who are grossly unfair in dealing with others, while they themselves flourish and prosper. They have whatever they want, live in comfort, and have all the power in their hands to do evil to others. And it's very tempting for us to become angry, envious, and be tempted to blame God, as if He were being inconsiderate to us in permitting them to live, prosper, prevail, and apparently doing nothing about it. King David faced this over and over and over throughout his life, and he gave us some great advice regarding our tendency to fret. Psalm 37:7. Be still, rest before the Lord, and wait patiently for Him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. You know, like David, we're apt to fret and become frustrated with their success and envy them getting wealth, especially by unlawful means. We sometimes wish we could shake off the restraints of our conscience and do likewise. Well, that's why David laid out both the danger and God's command in dealing with fretting. Psalm 37:8. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not yourself, it tends only to evil. When we consider all the injustice that's going on in the world around us, it's easy to think that these people are the only ones who are happy and then be envious of their prosperity. This is what David warns us against. Fretting and envy are sins that in themselves are their own punishment. But if we look at the temptation through the eye of faith, we'll see that there's no reason for us to envy the wicked. David knew. Psalm 37, now verses 1 and 2. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Be not envious of wrongdoers, for they will soon fade like the grass and wither like the green herb. You know, outward prosperity is a fading thing, and those who make it number one in their life will eventually be cut down by the judgments of God. Their triumph will be short-lived. You know, they may flourish for a time, but it's just like the grass and the green herb. They're going to fade and wither in God's perfect time. So let's go back to aluminum for a moment. There's a good lesson here. You know, it's interesting that while it's the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust, aluminum is never found free in nature. It was only after man learned how to extract it from other compounds that it became available. It was then that he discovered that aluminum was impervious to corrosion. Well, the same thing applies to us in the area of corrosive fretting. God never asks us to do anything that we're unable to do, because He's already given us all we need to accomplish the task. When He tells us, fret not thyself, He's giving us a command that we're fully capable of carrying out. As Jesus' bride, we have all that we need to cease our fretting. He's provided us with the most abundant element in His kingdom, the Holy Spirit. He's the reason we can be still and rest in the Lord and fret not. He shields us from the corrosion of becoming angry about the apparent injustice and inequality we encounter in the world. The Holy Spirit makes us just like aluminum. He is never found in nature, he must be discovered, and he's 100% recyclable without loss of any of the qualities he's given us. David makes it clear that we're not to fret and envy the prosperity of others, and we're sure not to blame God. Because he's patient and allows evildoers to triumph and prosper is not our problem. It's not our call to make. We're in danger of allowing this corrosive process to eat away at us like cancer and slowly erode our faith. We need to face the fact that at the end of the day, we are the ones who control the corrosive process. Matthew Henry sums it up for us. A fearful, discontented spirit lies open to many temptations, and those that indulge it are in danger of doing evil. Will we either allow fretting to eat away our faith, or will we apply to the power of the Holy Spirit to resist the process? If untreated, fretting, like corrosion, will weaken, wear away, and eventually destroy everything it touches. Picture the corrosion that appears on your car's battery. We treat the condition with a solution of baking soda and water to clean it up, and then finish by applying grease to the terminals to prevent further corrosion. Now, perhaps it's a poor example, but the Holy Spirit is also our baking soda and our grease. But if we don't call on him, we'll be just like the untreated battery. At some point, we're going to stop functioning. We need to remind ourselves when we're tempted to become angry about some injustice that there is an enemy who wants to corrode our relationship with our bridegroom. He'll throw every imaginable corrosive element at us to try and wear us down to the point where we stop functioning, stop fulfilling our role in being an effective part of God's plan for the redemption of this world. Knowledge is power. It's power because knowledge is something that can't be taken from you. Once you understand and tap into the power of the Holy Spirit to control your fretting, that power is yours forever. So the next time you find yourself starting to fret and getting angry, remember that God commands us not to fret and be envious of wrongdoers. We're to refrain from anger that leads to evil. And we're to rest in the Lord and be patient for him to judge. It's God's time. In God's time, evildoers will fade like the grass and wither like the green herb. So in the interim, we need to ask the Holy Spirit, what lesson is he teaching us in the midst of our anger? So our challenge this week is to deal with the temptation to fret the moment it rises up. God is in charge, and how and when he deals with the injustice is his decision and his alone. It might be a good idea if we take some time to do a little preventive maintenance in preparation for the next time we get tempted to fret. And a good place to start would be to ask ourselves, which battery do we want to be? The one that's corroded and losing power, or the one whose terminals are free of corrosion and delivering full power? Now, to help you, there's a link to an article below that I wrote that takes a look at this difficult command, entitled, What's a Fret? It takes a look at what we can do to recognize and stop our fretting cold. Now, if you haven't subscribed to our weekly challenge, please do so and join me here every Wednesday in Reaching Jesus' Bride, with his call for her to become all she can be. Every day it becomes clearer that Jesus is poised for his soon return. And as his bride, each of us has a role to fulfill in reaching the lost before the clock stops. And Jesus has planned it so that we all need to work together to get the job done. Now, if you're not a believer in Jesus and don't know what it means to be his bride, I urge you to click on the link to come and believe, and let the Holy Spirit speak to your heart, and then take the next step. Thank you for joining with me to get the message out to wake up Jesus' bride by hitting the like button, sharing, and helping us to cover the cost. So until next time, remember, I'm here to encourage you on your journey from the cross to spiritual maturity. Have an awesome week in Jesus, and I'll see you right here next Wednesday morning. God bless.